I want to start by thanking everyone for joining us today. This is the second annual Lively Pitch event. It's happening during Rhode Island Startup Week 2022. We're excited to bring this special event to you. I'm Annette Tonti. I'm the managing director of RiHub. I'm also a three-time serial entrepreneur, and I have been in the shoes of every one of these entrepreneurs that you're going to hear from today. I know what it's like to be looking at your company and thinking 3 to 6 months out and trying to figure out where the funding is going to come from. So we thank you for being here, and we're going to make this a lively pitch session. Now, little rules here. There is no Q&A. This is a demo day style. So these startup entrepreneurs get 3 minutes to pitch, and they have 2 slides. We're running the slides for them. What you will note is that in the chat, there is a link to a form, and that form is really important. That form is the form you will use to do any follow-up you'd like to do with any one of these folks. You'll notice their company name and a little tweet level description of what they're all about, so you can kind of remember them. We will also follow up with every one of you in email to send you the same form. We are also recording this session. So you may watch this and actually in a couple of days decide you want to talk to somebody that you've seen here today. We will be monitoring that form. Thank you for being here, and we'll get started. Just also let you know, each of these companies have been curated. So we are careful about those who were having pitched today that are ready to pitch. And we'll get started. And we'll do the timer. And so we're going to start with Drew Gillen of Abyss.
Hi, everyone. My name is Drew Gillen. I am the CEO and co-founder of Abyss, a remote crypto startup out of Providence, Rhode Island. We are 100% bootstrapped, profitable, and actively fundraising. There are several major problems in the crypto industry right now, preventing mass adoption. The first is that everything is extremely difficult to use. The barrier for entry is so painful that new consumers would rather not learn about the technology at all. There are also a million different applications and protocols separated from one another that everyone needs just to get started in the crypto space. On top of this, there's rampant scams and fraud taking place within every corner of the industry, even at the top exchanges. And because of the lack of infrastructure, there's limited real-life use cases for this technology, overall making crypto hard to use, difficult to understand, and preventing mass adoption. Next slide, please. And this needs to change because crypto is a revolutionary technology. It holds the same founding principles of that as the United States: open source in nature, permissionless, transparent, and censorship resistant. So in order to reach mass adoption, there needs to be an all-in-one digital wallet hub that has everything you would need for crypto in one place. We need to provide the consumers with a trusted source where they can do business, while also providing them with rich data so they can make data-driven decisions to help prevent scams and fraud. On top of this, there needs to be a payment railway that will introduce crypto into your day-to-day life so you can go to Dunkin' Donuts and actually purchase your coffee with cryptocurrency. At Abyss, we're working to make this possible. We've built a crypto platform where our users can connect to 100 plus exchanges and 10,000 plus cryptocurrencies. We aggregate and process over 100,000 plus data points per second from all the exchanges that we support. We've then went ahead and built out analytical tools on top of our data, allowing our users to watch money move across the entire market, creating one place where you can find, track, and research cryptocurrency. We've released dozens of crypto data APIs, so our customers can also build applications on top of our data. And we do this while continuing to create and release new features on our platform. We've also helped several of our clients list their own cryptocurrency tokens on exchanges as well. So to close the gap and to get further to our goal of mass adoption, we're going to continue to build intuitive and easy to use products for consumers, so even my parents can understand what's going on. We're also going to incorporate more and more features into our platform, building upon the open source nature of the blockchain, expanding our user base and getting closer to mass adoption. If this sounds interesting to you at all, check out our website at abyss.com, abyss.com, and even send me an email at drew@abyss.com. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Next, Origami with Bradley Adams.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bradley Adams. I'm one of the co-founders here at Origami. Actually, could you go back to the previous slide? And what we've done is we've developed a platform that turns any document into a powerful mobile application. Now, what does that mean? So with our platform, we can take a simple PDF, upload it into our dashboard, and develop its own unique URL and private web page that essentially turns itself into an icon right on the home screen of the device that's fully embedded in the phone. So now a document becomes searchable, actionable, and easy to find when you need it most. And next slide, please. And the first market we chose to target with this technology is insurance. And the reason why we chose insurance was that they have these policies that they distribute every single day. Many of you have some type of experience with insurance. And these policy documentations can be confusing, cumbersome. You never put them in the right place. And ultimately, when you have to go file a claim or go figure out what you're covered for, you can't find the information when it matters most. And so working with carriers, we've been able to develop our platform to take that information and provide a seamless user experience so that ultimately that policyholder is just getting a QR code in their email confirmation with their coverage that they can then scan, save on their device, and quickly have access to the resources they need when they need it most, as well as more details of their coverage. Next slide, please. So since last year, we've expanded outside of just travel insurance and assistance and have also picked up several projects within healthcare and also the retiree benefit space. And we've delivered over 120,000 different documents to members since the beginning of this year, and that number is still growing. Our daily download rate has tripled since last year. So what we're proving is that ultimately, this is a type of technology that people want to engage with because we remove the barriers that these users need to access the content when they need it most. And so far, we've had some great partners with some very strong players within the space. And we're looking for introductions into other insurance carriers or brokers who are doing similar type of work in the industry. Because with Aerogami, we're ultimately making sure that the materials that matter most are truly mobile for those policyholders. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to connecting with people after the lively pitch.
Thank you, Bradley. Next up is Atomics with Dana Bichel-Speisel.
Atomics is revolutionizing. Oh, can you go back to the previous slide? Thank you. Atomics is revolutionizing the way we store and process digital data by using small molecules. Now, you may be wondering, why would anyone want to store digital data in small molecules? So let's first take a second to talk about the problem, which is the modern data center. Right now, data centers are struggling to keep up with our explosive data creation and processing needs. Next slide, please. What we're looking at here is data creation in zettabytes. And if we take a look at where we are on this curve in 2022, and we look ahead, we see this massive increase in data creation that's expected within the next decade. And that red line down there is actually the conventional technology limits. So we've actually surpassed our limits already. In fact, we can only store about 15% of the entire digital universe today. So why is this happening? Well, most of our data is stored using transistors, and these transistors require chip-grade silicon. One huge problem is that prior to 2040, the demand will be nearly 100 times the world's supply of this silicon. Another problem is that transistors have already reached their size limit, and at this size, they produce enormous amounts of heat. In fact, to keep our data cool, data centers are using more electricity per year than the entire country of Austria. There are some serious problems with how we store and process data. And what we need is nothing short of a paradigm shift in approach to solve these problems. And that's where Atomics comes in. Next slide, please. Atomics can store data denser, more sustainably, and for longer periods of time when compared to our competitors. We've patented our entire process, and we've shown that we can store and retrieve megabytes of information using our method. So how are we planning to make money? Our main revenue stream will come from customers in the private and public data storage sectors, and we'll sell the equipment and the chemical libraries necessary to store information and molecules. We've already been contacted by Amazon and Microsoft, as well as the CIA, Department of Defense, and the Library of Congress, and they're all interested in using our technology in the coming years. And I'm particularly so excited for the next few years of Atomics that'll be full of growth. First, we'll scale up to gigabytes of information by the end of this year. Next year, we'll be fundraising, and with the capital, we'll continue to scale so that one day we could take the entire digital universe that currently occupies thousands of acres of land worldwide and condense it into the size of one small room. And so I'll leave you all with this. Silicon Valley has become a household name, and its name came from all of the silicon that's used to make the transistors that power our technology world. But the fact is, we are running out of silicon. And if we accept that technology will continue to improve despite this, then it becomes easy to also accept that the future is not silicon, it's atomic. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. That was awesome. All right, next up, Peter Haas with the Vendley.
Hey everybody, I am here to talk to you today about robots, particularly bartending robots. So my name is Peter Haas, I'm the CEO of Avendly, and at Avendly we are making robots for restaurants and bars. Next slide, please. So there's a huge problem in the spirits market. There is a shortage of labor for bars and restaurants, 35,000 fewer workers in the US than before the pandemic. Additionally, there's a problem with overpours. So your average bar loses about 22% of its inventory to overpours in a year. That translates to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Next slide, please. So we are producing robots to try to solve this problem. Our MixieBot Pro, this is the alpha prototype, we're making a beta version right now, can produce 8 drinks a minute and can do that with a perfect pour every time. So no wastage and no overpours. We are leasing this at $1,800 a month as a robot as a service. And we believe we can build 450 units in the first year and be up to 4,500 units by year 3. 4,500 units would be $87 million in ARR. The team is comprised of myself, a roboticist from Brown University, Edward Forer, who worked for 16 years running manufacturing at Blue Sky Group, and Nico Torcida, who does embedded systems and software development. We have a factory lined up in Providence, Rhode Island, and we are currently raising money on WeFunder to try to get that factory off the ground and get production rolling. So to that, I'm going to read a really quick disclosure from WeFunder and the SEC. We are testing the waters to gauge investor interest. It's offering under regulation crowdfunding. No money or consideration is being solicited. If sent, it will not be accepted. No offer to buy securities will be accepted. No part of the purchase price will be received until Form C is filed through WeFunder's platform. Any indication of interest involves no obligation or commitment of any kind. Thank you for considering us, and I hope that you help us get our manufacturing started in Rhode Island so that we can start making robots for bars and restaurants. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Peter. Next up, Kristen Carbone with Brilliantly.
Hello, hello. Thanks so much for having me here today. I'm excited to share just a little bit about Brilliantly Warm, our flagship product. So Brilliantly Warm is a wearable that delivers full body, natural feeling warmth from the press of a button. It's controlled by an app and it's rechargeable and slips easily into any bra. We sold out of our pre-sale units in 48 hours, made a run of 500 more, and are just about to launch the second version of Brilliantly Warm that has updated features and functionality based on our user feedback, and we're doing that in just a few weeks. Well, many of you here may know, hello to lots of friendly people out there who I can see in the chat. Many of you already know that this product was originally designed for women in the breast cancer community, but we have huge plans for our patent pending technology. We intend to meet the needs of women from when they get their first period through perimenopause. Thanks for changing the slide, Annette. I was just going to say that. And because we're doing that because our current users represent not only women from the breast cancer community, but also women from an $85.7 billion market opportunity. That includes breastfeeding moms. Did you know that warming actually helps with every common pain point associated with nursing, from letdown to milk production? And we have happy customers who report they just love having an invisible layer of warmth under their clothes for activity-specific uses. So Brilliantly Warm users are using it as an alternative to having a space heater under their desk in a wrap sweater, as well as for things outdoors like skiing. We even have women who tuck Brilliantly Warm into their formal wear instead of wearing a wrap or a jacket that changes their look. From our regular and ongoing conversations with users, we've learned that almost half of them are putting Brilliantly Warm in their pants when they have menstrual cramps. So we're working on a form factor that fits on an abdomen or lower back. Here at Brilliantly, we are so excited to be the only solution to providing women an invisible way to feel comfortable all day. And the research shows us that feeling comfortable improves cognition, focus, and enhances our overall sense of well-being. We're currently raising a 1.5 million seed round to support production, key strategic hires, and a marketing campaign that helps us reach a whole new group of customers. Please feel free to reach out at hello@brilliantly.co. I would love to chat with you.
Thank you, Kristen. Next up, Liz Lima with Fierce Moda.
Thank you. Next slide, please. 14 million tons of clothing are discarded every year just in the US alone. That's approximately 2,150 pieces of clothes thrown away every second. So imagine garbage trucks filled with clothes going to the landfill and dumping out all the clothes every single second. 200 tons of water are polluted when just only creating 1 ton of fabric. And 70% of all the clothes you see here in this landfill are all because of returns, because they didn't fit right. You see, when women go clothes shopping, it's a challenge because our sizes are all arbitrary numbers. We have sizes 2s, 4s, 8s, 16s. You never know what it's going to be. You can go to 5 different women's stores, pull out the same size pants, line them all up, and not one of them will be the same. But yet when men go shopping, it's quite simple because men's sizes are actual measurements. They know their neck size, their arm length, their waist measurement, their pant lengths, even their inseams. A man needs to buy a pair of pants. He knows that he needs size 34 waist, size 34 length. Done. But women, not so much. It's emotional and it's depressing. We can go into one store, pull out a size we always wear, put it on, and it won't fit. And we say, but this was always my size. Or when we're shopping online for clothes, we will buy 3 different sizes of the same piece of clothing because we know one of them must fit and we have to return the other 2 if we remember to return the other 2. Next slide, please. I'd like to introduce you to Fierce Moda, the first virtual styling dressing room marketplace that uses your body photo for your accurate body inches measurements. We have measurement technology, overlay technology, and styling algorithms that will style you for your body shape and size. Because Fierce Moda uses the patterns of the clothes, because patterns use inches. So the inches of the pattern will match the inches of the body. They will be completely overlaid and it'll be a perfect match. So when you shop online, you see yourself in clothing and outfits that will only look great on you. And so making shopping easy for women as it is for men. But we're not only empowering our end users, we're also empowering small businesses and independent designers. Since this is a platform, they actually upload all of their items onto the inventory and they're part of the styling algorithms so that they then can market to their customers, which will be free marketing for us. And we earn a commission on every sale. We also have membership tiers for our end users as well as our vendors. So Fierce Moda is bringing personal styling online for free as opposed to subscription boxes or very expensive personal stylists. We're looking for people to help us join and finish the product, which we already have in beta. We have current customers and we've been growing rapidly. Stylists and designers are already waiting to get on our platform and we just need to finish. So please reach out, join us in our mission to empower women through clothing and to lower 70% of the clothes that end in the landfill. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Next up, Melissa Boley of Flourish Fund.
Good afternoon, everybody. You can hear me okay? Wonderful. So our mission at Flourish Fund is to improve health outcomes for moms and babies while reducing cost for insurers. We're filling the gap in access to community-based maternity care for 4 million American families each year. So by way of background, I'm a biomedical engineer by training. I spent 20 years in medical devices. I'm a problem solver at heart, and I have 9 patents and spent lots of times in things like surgical robotics, breast reconstruction, and pelvic floor. Then I became a mother and I was like, wow, devices don't solve everything. And it wasn't until I experienced the gaps in maternal health care system firsthand and again realized that I'd spent my time treating with medical devices and not really looking at preventative care, where I ultimately ended up turning to my community providers, things like doulas, lactation consultants, and others in my community to support me. And I did the research, and it turns out that these community interventions reduce C-section rates by 30%. They reduce NICU rates by 50%. They reduce postpartum depression and anxiety. And this is taking a huge toll on our health system here in the United States. It costs $32 billion from the time you conceive to 5 years of that baby's life in maternal and infant health morbidity. And I don't know if everyone here on the phone knows, but women today are 50% more likely to die in childbirth or postpartum than their own mother was a generation ago. Clearly, our stats are headed in the wrong direction. The good news about that, although obviously we obviously want to help moms and babies, is that the government is taking notice, and there's been sweeping policy changes across the United States, and they're creating new insurance reimbursement pathways. And we expect that the services we offer are going to be covered by about 80% of the births. So you're probably wondering, what services do we offer? That's where Flourish Fund comes in. We extend care beyond the clinic and into the community. We do this through, thank you, next slide. We do this through our B2B tech-enabled health services platform, providing evidence-based community care and a toolkit for pregnant people. We do this by taking advantage of the new reimbursement we just talked about for these services across the US. We launched a HIPAA-compliant app, and we use AI to match our local care providers with eligible health plan members, manage billing, and track health outcomes. We have exclusive contracts with the top 150 community care providers, and that extends from Connecticut all the way up to Maine. We are generating revenue, and we've partnered with healthcare and Medicaid companies such as United Healthcare. We have a national contract with them, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Care New England, ultimately to offer our services to their patients, producing over $450K in revenue over the next 12 months in fee-for-service reimbursement and subscription fees. We're raising $1.5 million in our seed round with about $550K committed. Please reach out if you're interested in being part of this mission, part of our growth, and joining our incredible panel of investors already. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa. Next up, Sarah Michelle at GoTef.
Hi, everyone. My name is Saron Machala, and I'm the founder and CEO of GoTef, a superfood and wellness brand innovating with ancient teff grain. Next slide, please. GoTef is a superfood snack made from teff, which is an ancient grain 4,000 years old that hails from Ethiopia. It is known as the staple food of Ethiopian runners, who are some of the best endurance athletes in the world. Teff is naturally gluten-free, has low glycemic index, low FODMAP. Think quinoa, but better. With fewer calories, teff offers more protein, twice the fiber, twice the iron, 4 times the calcium per cup. And now, using our proprietary process, we have created a crunchy on-the-go snack that can also be enjoyed as a cereal or topper for yogurts and salads. All our products are top 9 allergen-free, 100% plant-based, have no added sugar, and it tastes good. So having conducted market research and testing with thousands of customers, we know that customers no longer want to compromise on taste and texture for health. And that is the GoTef promise: longevity of energy without any drawbacks. Next slide, please. Since launching, we've completed our proof of concept and sold more than 6,000 units. We've interacted with 1,500 plus customers. And the key numbers to remember here is that we have an 80% conversion rate, meaning 8 out of 10 customers who taste our product buy it. We have a 40% repeat buyership without any marketing or solicitation. And we completely sold out of a limited edition subscription box that we tested. That was a 3-month subscription box. After recently winning an innovation voucher from Rhode Island Commerce, we have finalized our proprietary process, and we're now gearing up to start production with the world's largest plant-based manufacturer, ready to launch our product on a larger scale. And we're currently raising our pre-seed round, and we hope you join us on this superfood journey. Go long, go strong, go tough. Thank you.
Thank you, Saran. Next up, Hope Parrish from Lore.
Hello, I am Hope Parrish, the CEO and co-founder of Lore Mighty Foods. Lore is a new eco-friendly emerging brand in the natural food space, bringing only 100% plant-based, organic, and all-natural foods to market in Q1 of 2023. Proud to tout that we are a 100% women-owned, women-led company, all possessing prior success in bringing brands to market, developing IP assets, as well as working with big box retailers. Next slide, please. The pandemic has reshaped consumer behaviors, with one of the biggest shifts being in the health and wellness industry. People want to do better when it comes to prevention and are searching for healthier options within diet and nutrition. Consumers want cleaner labels, they're looking for better for you options and foods that deliver nutrient-dense ingredients. We have seen significant growth in the supplement category, as well as the creation of a new category within grocery called functional foods. One of the biggest performers in this new category, mushrooms. Current trends are pointing to adaptogenic mushrooms being a $20 billion industry by 2025. Think of adaptogenic mushrooms and their proven health benefits as being the new CBD. As we know, timing is everything. Given the current landscape, the market is ripe to bring an innovative functional food offering, one that is first to market as a new form factor and a confirmed category disruptor in the supplement space. Supplements are typically packaged as capsules, tablets, blended powders, tinctures. Lore believes food is medicine, and why not deliver a supplement in America's favorite food, chocolate? Lore is introducing a chocolate bonbon that is redefining superfoods. Our Better Together blend marries the super rich antioxidants of chocolate with the undeniable benefits of adaptogenic mushrooms. Yep, you heard that right, a chocolate bonbon that delivers a supplement grade dose of adaptogenic mushrooms. Our brand will resonate with the health conscious consumer, the athlete, as well as the trendy enthusiast who's looking to spearhead new wellness products from eco-conscious brands they can trust. Next slide, please. Lore softly launched this summer, attending 3 trade shows, which generated significant interest across both chocolate and the vitamin supplement categories. After pitching to over 110 buyers representing independents, regional and national retailers, we captured next step discussions with over 80% of them. We've secured commitments from CVS and GNC, and we are in active conversations with Wegmans, Sprouts, Whole Foods, just to name a few. In terms of capabilities, we are manufacturing in our home state of Rhode Island with an organic certified co-packer with the ability to scale quickly, as well as having logistics in place for B2B and B2C shipping. We're actively vetting both regional and national sales brokers as we look towards targeting natural grocers in key markets and partnering with UNFI and KeHE as key distributors. We are being intentional and strategic with our fundraising as we seek to raise $3 million to help us reach our first round goals. Please reach out, as we'd love the opportunity to tell you more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hope. Next up, Jack Schaefer with MediCircle.
This pack of medication can not only save a life, but save a cancer patient from bankruptcy. Unfortunately, because one pill was previously dispensed, this medication will be thrown away. This is the two-sided problem that cancer faces. Treatments are unaffordable, yet there is an incredible amount of unused medication being wasted. Next slide, please. When treatments are adjusted due to adverse reactions or disease progression, the remainder of the pills are discarded. 41% of American cancer patients will have leftover prescriptions at the end of their treatment, meaning $6 billion worth of oral cancer medication is wasted every year. But of the 1.8 million Americans diagnosed with cancer every year, 63% will report cost as a barrier to their healthcare. Nearly half of these patients are forced to reduce spending on everyday essentials such as food or clothing to afford their treatment. MediCircle addresses these problems by connecting unused medications to patients in need. We collect leftover oncology pills, recertify their quality using our patented technology, and we ultimately redistribute the medication to financially burdened patients. Next slide, please. The redistribution of medication is currently legal in 41 states, including right here in Rhode Island, where MediCircle wrote, sponsored, and passed our own legislation. To date, the redistribution industry has moved over $300 million worth of medication. Yet the sector is still in its infancy, with a total accessible market of $122 billion. Before MediCircle, our team gained experience redistributing medication through Save One Life's international program, which has redistributed over $155 million worth of hemophilia factor. MediCircle also won first place, as well as was voted fan favorite at the Brown Venture Prize. We have been featured in prominent publications such as the Techstars Seed Spotlight, Medicine at Brown, and on the front page of the Boston Globe. MediCircle's enormous traction helped us raise a $1.2 million pre-seed round with notable healthcare investors. Through our online pilot, thousands of patients and providers have joined our waitlist to either donate or receive medication from MediCircle. I mean, just 2 hours ago, the University of Kansas attempted to donate $250,000 worth of medication to MediCircle. There are currently 52 top cancer centers competing to be MediCircle's first partners as we prepare for our full regulatory green light later this year. At this time, we'll be only one of a handful of authorized redistributors. At MediCircle, we believe cost should not be a barrier to healthcare, and we hope that you will help us accomplish this mission. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Next up, Charles Johnson with NewAd.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Charles Johnson, and I am with NewAd single-hand video game controllers. Years ago, I was playing video games with my cousin. Unfortunately, he was born with a birth defect, and he was born without his left hand and his forearm. So to play, he would actually take the standard video game controller and place it on the table. Unfortunately, he couldn't reach all of the buttons to play at a fast, competitive level. And this is the problem. Next slide, please. And this is the problem with the standard video game controller. The standard video game controller, and all controllers for that matter, were designed and created to be played with 2 hands. But this limits the estimated 46 million disabled gamers who cannot play with a 2-hand controller. Gamers like my cousin who were born with limitation, or the thousands of wounded warrior veteran gamers, or the one of 6 million Americans each year who break a bone, kids who sprain a wrist, or soccer players who break a collarbone. And coincidentally, we also believe that this solves another problem. What about gamers who want to eat pizza or text message or talk on the phone? And every single one of us can think of a gamer who would like to drink some, soda as they play video games. So what's the solution to this video game problem? Next slide, please. The solution to this and both problems is the NewAd single-hand video game controller. Our patented design takes all of the buttons from a standard video game controller and maps them out in a way that can be reached with one hand. Our ergonomically designed controller is compatible for kids and adults. It is also left hand and right hand compatible as well. What makes our controller truly unique is our controller can be played on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox, and PC, which in 2020 had a combined 2 billion gamers. This controller will truly revolutionize the way video games will be played. Incidentally, we don't believe that this controller is simply a game controller for gamers with disabilities. We believe that this will revolutionize every controller and every gamer, and is actually a scalable business model. So where are we now? We currently have a USPTO patent. We currently have a website. We are taking pre-orders at the same time as well. In addition to that, we are politely being harassed for orders by a UK-based company. Additionally to that, and our most exciting thing is we have just partnered with Able Gamers, who is by far the largest organization in the world for exclusivity in gaming. We are NewAd single-hand video game controllers. Come help us single-handedly change the way video games will be played for gamers with and without limitations. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Next up, Adam Alpert from Pangea App.
Hey everyone. Pangea.app makes it easy for startups to hire great talent. Next slide, please. Instead of spending months looking for the perfect person, startups can hire top tech talent in a matter of days. We do this by leveraging freelance engagements, which are less risky and allow you to get to work faster. Our platform enables everything from discovering to onboarding to managing freelance tech talent. Since we process all the payments, we net 10% of every single transaction run through our platform. Unlike Upwork, all of our talent is based in the US, pre-vetted by our team, and have a background working in tech or from top colleges. In the last 4 weeks, startups have paid out more than $100,000 to freelancers using our platform, working with talent they couldn't otherwise hire to help with marketing, design, and engineering. Next slide, please. 40% of Gen Z and millennial tech workers work a part-time job in addition to their full-time job. This trend is driven by a search for financial security, which is only going to grow in terms of need over the next 12 months. This growing trend allows us to unlock new sources of talent that are capable and affordable. Our team is backed by Y Combinator, PJC, and Underdog Labs, and it's onboarded more than 3,000 companies and 30,000 freelancers. We are on a mission to connect startups with great talent. If you're looking for affordable but capable talent to join your team, I'm going to drop our link in the chat and look forward to talking with you and helping you out. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thanks so much, Adam. Next up, Eric Grunfeld with Plugged In.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Grunfeld, and I'm the founder and CEO of Plugged In. What if I were to tell you that in a moment's notice, your time is suddenly up and you're robbed of any chance to make an impact in the world? It's absolutely devastating. People of my age, or my generation especially, have the most time to make an impact in the world, yet our lives are constantly getting cut short by the leading and preventable public health crisis of distracted driving. Next slide, please. Distracted driving is causing over 3,200 deaths per year, with a comprehensive cost of $4 million per death. Furthermore, the reported collisions are staggering, with 1.7 million annual car collisions and an average severity of $35,000 per collision, leading to an annual loss cost that insurance companies are facing of $60 billion per year. Next slide, please. Plugged In is on a mission to end distracted driving through a combination of a mobile app along with a smart, patented car phone holder that's placed on the dashboard of one's vehicle. When one places their phone on the holder, they are immediately engaged in a safer driving behavior because handheld phone usage is eliminated, incoming messages are silenced, and the driver is identified. The more time a phone is on the holder, the more money a driver can earn, where we are partnered with the largest digital gift card catalog in North America named Prize Out. This partnership allows us to set up a business model whereby drivers can choose however much they want to be paid for their safe driving, while we as a company can achieve strong profitability. Another incentive for why a driver would place their phone on the holder is that they would be earning insurance benefits. This is a longer term strategy of how we get mass market adoption of our product, and have already formed a partnership with a major national insurance company and service organization whose brand represents traffic safety, and that they have already provided us with 7,000 of their customers to perform a Brown University research study on our product, which I led on behalf of Brown as a recent graduate student. Aside from Brown, we have also worked with research institutions such as Virginia Tech Transportation Institute, University of Iowa Injury Prevention Center, Harvard University, Columbia, and the Abigail Wexner Research Institute at Nationwide Children's Hospital. Moving forward, we are looking to open up our fundraising round in Q1 of 2023 and welcome any conversations with prospective investors. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Eric. Next up, Maggie Backenberg of Points.
Hi, I'm Maggie. I'm CEO and co-founder at Points. Next slide, please. Riding bikes, scooters, and other small micromobility vehicles in urban areas can be really scary. People don't feel safe riding near cars or on roads without bike infrastructure like protected bike lanes. So what we've done is we've created a solution, which is Points, and it can be described as ways for safer bike routes. The way it works is that you can see ratings on the home screen and then type in destinations, search for routes, find safer alternatives to what faster routes are recommended from competitors like Google Maps. And there's also a crowdsourcing component which allows users to generate recommendations for the map as well. We launched the app this past spring and got a lot of organic traction, receiving over 4,000 registered users. And here's a quote from one of our riders that we've been interviewing. We interface with our customers on the daily. Next slide, please. So this market is a $45 billion TAM, and two revenue streams that we're pursuing are data licensing. So licensing the data to last mile delivery companies, as well as micromobility operators, and premium subscription. So a freemium model where there's a free and a paid version of the app. We've been very fortunate to receive have received $520,000 in investment from Rogue Venture Partners as well as Techstars. We were also part of the Mass Challenge 2021 cohort. Right now, we're actually going through Techstars in Portland, Maine, so that's been a blast. And we've also received press from Bloomberg and the Boston Globe. If you're interested in connecting with us about potential investment or partnership opportunities, please reach out to me at maggie@bikepoints.com. And if you are a rider, we'd love to have you use our app and send us feedback through the QR code. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maggie. Next up, Dana Paul with Ritual Motion. Oh, can't hear you.
Okay, I am live. Hello, everyone. And Annette, thank you for putting on another spectacular event. Congratulations to all the entrepreneurs that are part of this. With Ritual Motion, so we are building the first Web3 creator economy. Next slide, please. So here's the challenge, right? The creator economy is being limited by monolithic social content platforms that fully control the fate and destiny of creators. And often, way too often, they don't fairly compensate the value they create. So, you know, a lot of these platforms, this goes without saying, we're talking about the Twitches of the world, we're talking about the YouTubes of the world, we're talking about the TikToks, the Facebooks, Instagrams, right? Anybody who's ever created content on these platforms understand that it is climbing Mount Everest just to get to the point where on some of them you have the ability to do a live stream. So most of them you can't do a live stream. Some of them you have to do a lot of heavy lifting just to be able to get to the fact to have a live stream. And creating any sort of wealth is next to impossible unless you're hitting the millions and millions of followers, which really at the end of the day is probably only about 5% of the creators in the creator economy. So with the emergence of Web3, we allow content creators more opportunity to own and grow their personal brands. As the blockchain technology and users of newly formed DeFi constructs, digital assets like, you know, NFTs and social tokens are really going to start becoming the norm for these creators. It's their identity, right? So when you think about, we collect baseball cards and we collect all these things of our favorite, athletes and celebrities. Creators also, even people starting, now have the opportunity leveraging things like blockchain, leveraging things like NFTs and social tokens, actually have the opportunity to do that. And by doing that, you're actually going to have a higher engagement with your community. Because now I have an invested interest in Annette, who's one of my favorite creators that I follow, because I just have her social tokens or I just purchased her NFTs. The growth of NFTs and social tokens continue to increase rapidly, with the goal that content creators may use private digital assets to bolster their individual brands, grow a fan base, and more importantly, their own financial destination. So once again, you see this so many times right now. The biggest problem is people get mirrored on social media platforms. Sometimes you'll hear that someone say, hey, don't accept anything from me, I've been hacked, right? That's because someone has come in, taken your own identity, and they're trying to take your following base. One of the things and one of the solutions that having an opportunity like social tokens and NFT does.
What time?
I'm at time?
Yeah. You want to? Yeah.
All right, so quickly, we are the world's first Web3 create to earn, view to earn platform. We're the only platform out there that allows, right now, you could sign up on Ritual Motion, you could start live streaming, you could actually create from day one money, and also view to earn. No one is paying viewers to earn and watch content, and we're the first ones to do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dana. All right, next up, Sightail with Miran Gallis.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Annette. My name is Miran Gallis, and I'm the CEO and founder of Sightail. Back in the past, I was working at EY as an IT auditor. Working at EY make me understand a big problem in the industry. The world was moving for software in the cloud, utilizing more and more technologies and emerging technologies, both for startups and for enterprises. The problem is that the risk is increased because they export key functions in the company. So that's caused them a problem. It's increased the risk. Now, what do? They're asking for the vendors to be in compliance with global standard of security. Now, that's make a big problem for startups because they're not very familiar with this space and how to do compliance. So it's put them in a corner in which they need to be in compliance in order to make sell. So that's something that they actually need to do. And I'm speaking about all startups, SaaS, B2B with software-based platform for pre-seed of 2-3 employees, all the way to tech giants. All of those actually need compliance, and not only the tech sector, but actually all the companies in the world, also banking, insurance, and more. So the key idea over here is to build trust fast and make it cheap as possible. They have limited resources, engineering time will be required for it, and everything is very complex and takes a lot of time. They need to collect evidence, they need to go through external audits. So we turn all of the manual work that you can see on the left side, Excel, email, Google Sheet, all of this stuff into a smooth, simple to use, automated and smart compliance. So this is the new compliance, a transition compliance from the traditional way of doing this on a yearly basis to doing this on a continuously audit basis, including automation and using the platform as a single source of truth. But that's not the all of it. We actually try to cut in the total cost of compliance in 50%, cutting the audit fees, the auditor fees, the external auditor fees, third parties that they will need, like consultants, security awareness training, risk assessment, and etc. And eventually cutting the labor hours that they need to invest within this project. Labor hours can start from 250 hours a year, including engineering time. Next slide, please. So that was what was in the past against how working with Sitel. So you can see that we established at the beginning of 2021, we almost gained 100 customers, generated nice revenues and a very low churn of customers. And the future of compliance, as we see, more and more companies must be in compliance with security standards in order to grow and build trust throughout this space. So we're looking for a strategic partner and investor with knowledge in this space, in the security, or generally in the SaaS space. We raised so far for $5 million USD. And that's it. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Moran. Next up, David Chu with SIFT.
Got it. Hey, everyone. My name is David, and I'm the co-founder of SIFT, a platform that aims to make secondhand accessible. Next slide, please. According to ThreadUp, an industry-leading expert, around 3 in 4 consumers want to purchase secondhand. Secondhand is not only on average 40 to 50% cheaper, but also more sustainable. The issue is secondhand is hard to find. We've heard the same things, that it's difficult to find specific style, especially one in your size, and navigating on these sites is quite the nightmare. In fact, going back to that previous statistic, while 3 in 4 consumers may be willing to purchase secondhand, only about 30% actually do. Well, at SIFT, we aim to address these problems, and we've built a browser extension that streamlines the way that you shop online for secondhand apparel. Next slide, please. And how it works is super simple. Simply find a style you like, shop as you normally do, click on our SIFT extension, and we'll find secondhand alternatives from websites you may not even have heard of. It's that easy. And while we made this front-end user experience as simple as possible, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. There is a data cleaning model, able to interpret products from all around the web and convert it into a language that our models can understand. There is an objective similarity model, able to quantify what a product is and find objectively what are the closest products. There's a recommendation engine, able to interpret other factors, such as price, quality, and even image quality, and even condition. Now, we got our start at Brown. We were this year's Hacker Brown winner, and we were accepted to Brown's Summer Incubator program. And later this month, we plan on launching our closed beta. And I want you to know how big this opportunity is. Secondhand apparel is projected to more than demand for secondhand apparel is projected more than double within the next 4 years, reaching a $82 billion market. And while the demand is there needs to be something that makes it easier to find. We're that solution. And we're not going to be the first solution that addresses, we're not going to be the first company that solves a solution using a browser extension. Honey was able to prove that a simple solution integrated with the shopper's existing habits can be immensely successful. At SIPT, this is what we should know, because the demand for secondhand is only increasing. And for consumers, use is now acceptable. Well, let's make it accessible. Let's SIPT.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next up, Andreas Altenberg with Storytime Online.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andreas von Sachsen-Altenberg, founder and CEO of Storytime Online. Storytime Online gives children around the world access to interactive children's books, translated and narrated in diverse languages. Access to children's books. We may take it for granted, but 400 million migrants and refugees, as well as many more families and teachers around the world, still don't have access to children's books in their relevant languages, a fundamental educational resource. People who move to another country to create a better life for their families become part of an underrepresented minority population and can't find educational resources for their children, creating gaps in literacy and cognitive development. Next slide, please. Of course, this is a global problem, and Storytime Online solves it. We work with translators and narrators around the world to publish children's books from authors and publishers internationally and interculturally, all on our very child-friendly reading platform. Even 3-year-olds can use it autonomously. Our interactive format with narrations, sound effects, and critical thinking exercises keeps children engaged and gives them control. Families and teachers subscribe for unlimited access to all books in all languages for $5 a month, affordable for low-income families and developing regions. And it costs us only $30 to produce one book in any language. I experienced this problem in Germany with my little sister, Julia. She's 11 now, and won an innovation grant from the German government, and then moved to Rhode Island almost 1 year ago. Next, please. The support here has been incredible. RaiHub, Mass Challenge Accelerator, my mentors and community leaders who have helped me develop multiple international and local partnerships, including with PBS, the largest educational media nonprofit in America. After a soft product launch this year, several schools are already using Storytime in their classrooms, and we have about 10,000 website visitors from 80 countries with $0 in advertisement spent. Only SEO, which means people are actively searching for this solution and finding us. We are now raising $500,000, suggested by a VC, to launch 25 languages in the next year and build an operations and marketing team. And if anybody here isn't interested in investing but needs a tax write-off, you can sponsor a language for $5,000 to support diversity, equity, and inclusion and education worldwide. Thank you.
Thank you, Andreas. Next up, Lindsay Kuhn of Wingspans.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Kuhn, and I'm the founder of Wingspans, a web-based platform that uses storytelling to create a new pipeline of workers. The problem that we're solving, next slide. Thank you. The problem that we're solving is that right now our country is in a critical labor crisis. There's this visibility gap, and companies are struggling to get a new generation of workers hired to help them innovate and grow, and young people can't see themselves in jobs they don't even know exist. And when we look at the data, we see that 44% of undergrads don't know what they want to do after college, and corporations like CVS currently have 12,000 unfilled pharmacy tech positions. Next slide, please. Our solution is a technology-driven platform that closes the gap through story. I want you to imagine for a minute that you grew up on a potato farm in northern Maine. You loved growing up in a farm, but you realized your career aspirations were shaped by your limited life experiences. You know a lot about russet Burbank potatoes, but you have no idea what's beyond the farm. You decide to enroll in a community college that uses Wingspans in the classroom. And as you go through the platform, over 700 real world stories shift and shape how you think about yourself and what you think is possible, especially because you're from that generation that loves to consume content to help you understand the world. We have a smart assessment that we just launched this week that we're so excited about that matches you to career possibilities, and employer profiles connect you to industries that have this gaping need. At Wingspans, we match the next generation of workers to area employers. Community colleges partner with us to help their students have better outcomes, and companies partner with us to meet their labor needs and get in front of the next generation, specifically construction, manufacturing, healthcare, and IT companies. We have 13 schools that already love our product and are renewing customers, specifically community colleges and high schools. We have 35,000 active student accounts with an average engagement time of 15 minutes a session this month. And we're in the process of getting the same proof points from employers, which we plan to have by the end of the year through partnerships with Deloitte and Polaris MEP. Storytelling for career alignment is a $12 billion market opportunity, and we're designed to generate revenue from both schools and companies. As we go further into 2022, we're focused on growth, and by the end of the year, we plan to sign up 10 companies to demonstrate efficacy. I've assembled a really great team that's going to execute on this. As a former engineer and educator, I saw the visibility gap firsthand. We have a CTO who's awesome. We've been working together for about a year and a half. We have a curriculum designer, and our advisors are super experienced to help us execute on this. The future generation and our economy depend on us to build these new pipelines. If you want to be part of the journey, please reach out. Thanks.
Thank you, Lindsay. Next up, Curtis McConnell with Authentify.
Hi, I'm Curtis McConnell. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Authentify. We can do the next slide. The art market is corrupt. There, I said it. The art market really is corrupt. It is full of fakes and frauds, about 40%, just like the used car market was before Carfax. Crime and shady characters prevent art from being considered a true asset class and greatly reduce participation in civilization's greatest expression of life. The $65 billion art market really should be at least 3 times bigger than it is today. But the tragedy of the current art world is that most people don't invest in art because they just don't trust it. They keep their emotions checked, and they only buy art that is 100% certain through one of the few trusted gatekeepers of the art world. This is untenable, doesn't scale, and will never grow. Carfax not only legitimized the used car market, it actually increased new car sales as liquidity increased and more people bought and sold with confidence. This is exactly what should happen in the art world. We can do Carfax, but for art, 5 times better with today's technologies. Next slide, please. Authentify will secure by binding trusted art data to individual artworks with a blockchain secured evidence vault. Authentify will also identify using trusted RFID tags using a smartphone, like a VIN, but better. We use the same trusted technology that protects your pets, authenticates luxury goods, and secures financial transactions. Authentify will also explore with virtual digital galleries and high definition experiences, telling the amazing and even salacious stories about art, allowing everyone to experience art anytime, anywhere, and forever. Authentify will monitor real-time environmental conditions, alerting owners of the risk of their prized possessions, allowing them to save their works from immediate harm, long-term damage, and even theft. And Authentify will verify, allowing you to use your smartphone to protect yourself from fraud by immutably connecting our patented digital fingerprint to your physical art. These 5 critical functions allow people to feel free to fall in love with art the way art deserves. And one last thing. Have any of you bought a diamond ring for a loved one? Authentify also has scoring. Just like the GIA has the 4 C's for diamonds and gems, Athenify will supply a scorecard standardizing the 8 A's of art. These 8 categories give everyone confidence in the true quality and value of each individual artwork. In closing, imagine a vibrant and growing art market with equality, where you have universal participation, where everyone can have access to a level playing field, justice, there's accountability where good behavior is rewarded and bad is punished, and honesty. Trust is built in when facts and truth matter and corruption is eliminated. Let's all stand up for art and join Athenify in this vital mission to triple the art market, making it the next great asset class. Thank you.
Thank you, Curtis. Next up, Mark Barnes with FloorLink.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Barnes. I'm CEO and founder of FloorLink, which is an Internet of Things IoT company. Next slide, please. FloorLink designs and manufactures IoT products that connect people, places, and things. Our products address operational issues across multiple industries as listed below. For example, in hospitality, what is the temperature of my refrigerator, freezer, oven? Retail, want to know when a customer is in a high profit, low loss area of the store. And even in manufacturing, when should we perform preventive maintenance? Next slide, please. The main product is a Smart Hub. It's a rules-based engine that maps inputs to outputs and transmits that data up to the Microsoft Azure cloud. It's an open system that works with many third-party products such as temperature sensors, cameras. This is one of the unique features of our solution because we integrate with so many different devices such as traditional two-way radios. Also, Smart Hub has built-in wireless technologies that include Zigbee, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular. Most of the gateways that are on the market today are only specific to one wireless technology. It's a hybrid revenue model, and that includes a one-time hardware sale and ongoing monthly subscription. We sell through the channel, which includes resellers and integrators. We have installations at large accounts such as CVS, Staples, Best Buy, Chick-fil-A, Domino's, and others. And we have a contract now with AT&T. Next month, we'll be shipping 500 units, which was a $450,000 order. And it supports their connected spaces IoT solution for retail and quick serve restaurants. And they claim that that'll be a $1 billion division in just 5 years. We also have a partnership with Microsoft. They invested $75,000 in the Smart Hub development. That includes one of their secure Sphere chips, which has been integrated into the Smart Hub. Both AT&T and Microsoft are forecasting very large opportunities going into next year that are going to require the Smart Hub. So we need to scale fast. We're looking for funding to help with the ongoing hardware, software development, and building out the management team. We thank you for your time, and I look forward to the opportunity to connect in the near future.
Thank you, Mark. So that concludes our lively pitch, and I am so grateful for all of you who joined us today. As I said, in the chat, there is a link to the lively pitch follow-up form where you can follow up with any of these entrepreneurs that you heard today. We also have recorded this, and we'll be sending you the recording so that you can watch it again at your leisure. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And we look forward to seeing you again at the next lively pitch. Thank you.